Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I had a subscriber ask a question, which I'll kind of link in here above while I try to answer it for you guys, while I put on my +5 cap of weaponsmithing, work on a little bit of crafting, and relax and chill out. Now, they basically ask, do I think that personal trainers give their clients these horrific and terrible exercise selections and routines because they're actually really ignorant and they don't know any better, or because they need to make the client reliant upon them? They need them to get slower results so they can milk them out for more money in the long term and make their training more complex than it needs to be, so that again, they don't lose a client, they don't lose business. And that's an interesting topic, and it kind of hit home for me. The reason I'm just choosing to address this one is because a member of my family told my girlfriend and I that they had just hired a personal trainer who is actually very well recommended and very expensive, that they had a leg day and they're trying to tell us what they were doing on their leg day. Now, this is a female who's drug free and a novice lifter, all right, having a leg day and a chest day and a back day. But yeah, they were talking about their leg day, but it started with squats, so I'd be really proud of them. And I was nice about it. But yeah, it's kind of funny that happened, because I'm like, oh my gosh, a leg day. So it raises that question. You know what? I'm going to say the answer is multifold in nature, because it's going to depend on the individual personal trainer. Like with everything else in this industry, not everyone's knowledge is the same. And think about it this way. Look how many bros you see out there who don't know any better, who go on to become personal trainers. They come out of the bodybuilding world, the magazine world, and they literally don't know that what they're teaching and what they're doing themselves is actually not very efficient and not ideal. So if they don't know that themselves, what are the odds that if they become a trainer, that they're going to teach their clients incorrectly also? And because they got results, because maybe they have good genetics, or they train hard, or on a bit of gear. I mean, a lot of trainers use gear. Good marketing, not a bad strategy. If you think about it, again, it's going to help them get in shape, look more impressive, get better, more expensive clients who will pay more because they really, really look the part with enough drugs. So that is definitely something that happens a lot, but it doesn't mean that they necessarily know everything that they're doing. That doesn't mean that they know everything their clients need to know. And the thing is, because they at least look the part and they've got results themselves through one method or another, the thing to remember is that in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So definitely the case there in many cases. Now, on the other hand, do some of them know better? You bet. The idea is repeat business. You give your clients just enough results that they really become reliant upon you. You make the training complex enough that they can't really do it without you. And then they kind of need you, don't they? It's something else that's in other industries. There's something that's called an engineered breakdown. This comes up sometimes in ethics classes for engineers and stuff. This idea of an engineered breakdown, that you design a part for a car that breaks down after 100,000 miles. That ensures that they're going to have some repeat customers, doesn't it? Because ultimately, if that part's guaranteed to break down and wear out at 100,000 miles, sure enough, there's going to be required maintenance on that vehicle. And if they do that with multiple things, when those extended warranties run out on vehicles is at 100,000 miles, people are starting to need a new vehicle. They could design a lot of things in cars to last a lot longer than they do with the technology, a lot of things in your engine, but it would cost more money, and why do you want it to? Again, about repeat business and keeping those customers. Well, the same thing with personal training. If you really, really think about it, if your client gets all the results they want, and the programming and the training is simple enough that they can learn it and understand it pretty easily themselves. Let's say you put them on one of my novice type programs. Only has a handful of exercises or anything, stuff I proposed for non-athletes and things. Coming in and doing 5 or 6 exercises 2 to 3 times a week, 1 to 3 sets on a basic progression system. Once people learn how to perform the exercises, they don't need a personal trainer anymore. I mean, programs like that are bad for business. But if you can get your clients doing all sorts of crazy stuff with 12 or 13 different exercises, rotating through exercises on them. And they're just clients who wanted to get into shape. They're just trying to maximize fat loss. They're just trying to look a little better naked. They just want to lose weight and feel better and be healthier. They're not concerned with a program to help them win a top-level bodybuilding show, right? That's not what most of the clients are about who are hiring personal trainers. They're not concerned with peaking for some event. They don't need this complex training people have them do. But because they seem to get results, even if it's only 80% of the possible results for twice the work, doesn't matter because they're working hard. They feel like they're getting something out of it. They're putting in a lot of work, and they are seeing results, and they're continual results because they make them a little slower so they can grind them out longer. And because the training is kind of complex, they don't know how to work this on their own. They don't know what step to do next because they haven't been given a little basic progressive overload system like some of the stuff I throw out for you guys. So they don't know what to do, and if they are really serious about keeping those results and getting a little bit better every year, they're going to keep dishing out for that personal trainer 2, 3, 4 times a week. That personal trainer, if he markets it right, and he has someone who has the disposable income, they're going to keep that client for years. There have been cases of people doing that and keeping a client for 5 years, 6 years, things like that. I mean, good money if you can get it. But again, it requires them to teach stuff incorrectly, unless they're just there to have a friend. And again, not many people with disposable income are really going to pay that type of money for many years just to have a friend in the gym. A lot of people hire personal trainers for companionship and friendship at the gym, someone just to help motivate them. But nobody needs that for 3 years, 4 years, who has disposable income, who has any sort of life. They don't need that. Very, very few people do. So they can't rely upon that need out of those individuals for that relationship there. They need to have the person feel that they're reliant upon their knowledge and they're continually training complex programs. Because if they don't get that, then that person's going to learn everything they need and they're going to move on. I mean, again, for example, I've got some of those programs that I told people they could run for the rest of their life, right? So I give you that program, you learn the basic exercises, you could train somebody for a month. Personal trainer could teach them everything there is with that little program and put them on that progression forever, and they come to the gym 2 or 3 times a week for the rest of their life running that same little basic program in and out in less than an hour. Do they ever need a trainer again? No. You have a client for a month. You've given them the ideal program for their goals, just to get into shape, gain some muscle, lose some fat, and then they don't need you anymore. So when we say things like, yeah, I mean, a lot of them are clearly going to do this stuff and make it more complicated than it needs to be to keep clients, that's smart business. They're doing what they have to do. They can't teach you the stuff, everything that you need to know as just a person trying to get into shape, like I do here on channels. Some other channels do the same thing. Some people who write blogs do the same thing. There's nothing new there. A lot of people do that. But you know what? You can't keep a client base doing stuff like that. That's not going to work. Not going to work at all. I mean, how could it? So the whole idea of what a lot of them do is to create dependency. If you can create dependency, an artificial and engineered dependency, but a dependency in their mind nonetheless, you've got a customer for a very, very long time. And in business, that's really what you want. And that's what people need to realize. At the end of the day, personal training is just a business like any other. Right or wrong, people do it to make money. People do it to make a living. And there's always going to be a market for it. But they've got to hustle a little bit because it is an interpersonal type business that they're doing. And you've got to hustle people a little bit in that sort of business if you really want to make it, unfortunately. Just the nature of the game. Whether it's right or wrong, a whole nother story, because again, at the end of the day, I would argue, all right, we could argue it's not ethical, but you know what? That same person could spend a few hours researching on their own, an hour every week, doing their own research, and after a few months, they would never need a personal trainer. But they choose not to do that. So basically, it is a case of people being willfully ignorant, and in the meantime, it puts food on someone's table. So I'm okay with it in that regard, other than when I see personal trainers doing stuff that's going to hurt people. That's the only time I step in and I say, okay, this is ethically a problem. And you see them doing stupid shit like squatting or even sitting down and pressing on Bosu balls, working on Bosu balls, or just other high injury stupidity stuff. That's where it becomes a problem. And usually the case of that isn't so much that they're trying to be a con man in any way or to try to hustle someone. It's because the trainer really is just that ignorant. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.